Hello everyone, my name is John and welcome back to my channel. Bitcoin is looking extremely bullish. We're massively supporting off this area and the MACD oscillator is continuously ticking to the upside. Looks like we're going to break above the zero line and then look to push even higher. Ethereum is in the exact same scenario. We're even looking more bullish than we are for Bitcoin, ticking to the upside, and I am expecting a retest of the high this trading range. Plus, I have a lot of crypto news to go through with you today, so make sure you stay tuned until the end of the video. If you haven't already, leave a like, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment if you're enjoying these daily videos. First, I want to go over this long-term weekly chart for Bitcoin. Only twice has Bitcoin's 20 weekly exponential moving average crossed above its 200 weekly exponential moving average. The last time was in October 2015 and then just 2 weeks ago. You can see here, this short-term weekly exponential moving average, being the green line, crossed over this red line in 2015. And it only happened just 2 weeks ago, where we were trending to the downside, and now this is showing that bullish momentum is coming back to Bitcoin and the Bitcoin bull run is back in action. Next in breaking news, cryptocurrency trading should be regulated as gambling, the UK Treasury Committee says. It has no intrinsic value, high price and volatility, and no social good. Trading Bitcoin more closely resembles gambling than financial service. The problem with this is in the UK, if you would know that the taxes on gambling in the UK are actually zero. So if the UK was to implement this, it would mean that gambling or trading on Bitcoin would actually be a zero tax event and you would not be allowed to be taxed on this. So maybe we should all be moving to the UK so we can trade Bitcoin absolutely tax free. Next is a tweet directly from the Ledger support account. As you can see, this yellow tick here shows that it is the business account of Ledger. Technically speaking, it is and always has been possible to write firmware that facilitates key extraction. You have always trusted Ledger not to deploy such firmware whether you knew it or not. I don't know who wrote this tweet, but that person needs to get fired. You've been basically saying that for the entire time that anybody's owned a ledger, you're just really hoping and trusting them because it's always been possible for them to access your keys and take that data and give it to third parties. So the scary part is if the government was to come to Ledger and say, we need all of your keys, we need all of your accounts, it looks like they would fold and give it straight over to the government. And the truth is, not your keys, not your crypto. So personally, I'm going to be very careful with Ledger. I'm not going to be purchasing any more Ledger products from now on until this really gets resolved, or maybe I'll move over to Trezor or some other different seed phrase accounts. Next is this R-HODL ratio. This chart actually shows high level of value held by younger coins, so it means people that are trading and not holding these coins for a very long time, and the high level of value held by older coins. These are high level hodlers who have been holding Bitcoin for many, many years and not looking just to sell. When we look at this yellow line, you can see the R-HODL ratio. When we get into this red area is when we get blow off tops in Bitcoin. We got into this red area, we had a massive blow off top. We got into this red area, massive blow off top. Got back into this red area, massive blow off top. What this actually means is when we're getting to these high blow off tops, it means that these long-term hodlers are actually selling to these speculators. The speculators are trying to get in and out of the market, but they're the ones that actually get completely destroyed in the market. And it's the high level hodlers who are making all the money and selling to these young speculators. So you can see right now, where are we? We're right in the high level value for Bitcoin. You can see back in the day, this was the level where the price started to increase. Back in the day, right in here, when we got in this green zone, we had a massive, massive increase in Bitcoin. Back here in 2020, just before 2020, we came into this green zone and had that massive rally. And again, we're just coming out of this green zone right now, which shows that we should be looking to play Bitcoin for the long term and hold for the next 2 to 3 years and not be looking for high speculation plays to get in and out of the market. Truly, the best asset right now would be to buy and hold. You're going to beat inflation. You're going to beat a lot of treasuries. You're going to beat most other assets that are out there. This is such a perfect time to be getting into the market or look to actually accumulate in your portfolio. And of course, this is not financial advice. Lastly, in the crypto news, new data shows that crypto ownership in Turkey, Argentina, and the Philippines has surged as inflation skyrockets. As I was just speaking about, a lot of people are looking to place their money to at least beat inflation. In a lot of countries, inflation is 8% per year, which means that if you hold $100,000 of cash, next year, when exactly 1 year, when you have that exact cash, you're only able to buy $92,000 worth of goods the next year because of inflation. Although it still says you have $100,000 in your account, it means that you've lost that 8% worth of buying power as everything has started to increase. Food, cars, transportation, everything is increasing at that 8% level, and your 100,000 cannot buy what it could just 1 year ago. So you can see a lot of these countries are actually looking to beat inflation and gain on their money rather than hold the Turkish lira or their money, especially like Venezuela, where people are lighting their money on fire because the fire is worth more than having these couple of cents. So you can see the adoption right here in Turkey going from somewhere around 15%, basically doubling in a year to 27%. Very similar for Argentina, for the Philippines, even Thailand has had a bit of an increase, Brazil, Indonesia, even the United Arab Emirates has had basically a double from close to 10% to nearly 20%. So a lot of these countries are looking to place ownership in crypto and beat out on inflation. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment if you're enjoying these daily videos. Now, looking at Bitcoin on the daily chart, we're continuously being bullish. Yesterday's bar was quite a strong bullish bar, and look, we're continuing to the upside using the MACD histogram. I'm soon expecting another bar and then to break above the zero line, and that's when we're going to get this big breakout on Bitcoin. Once we break this zero line and then we start to see green bars like we see in this area here actually pushing to the upside, I'm expecting in the next few days to get a really solid green bar to confirm the end of the 60-day Bitcoin cycle, as I spoke about just a couple of videos ago. Make sure you check that out if you haven't. So right now is looking extremely bullish for Bitcoin. We're in this support area, support. We tried to break below this support area, but look where we close. When we get closes that are still holding in the support area, that is still extremely bullish, and it is not bearish unless this last bar here was to close on its low. It closed right down here, and then it would say, okay, the signal is now showing more bearish momentum. But when we get that wick down, it shows that there's a lot of momentum of buyers coming in that area because it is a value zone. People are looking to buy low, they're looking to sell high right now, which is extremely bullish. If we draw a trend line from this high through here and connect it through this second high right through here, you can see that we cut through here and we began to break this upline trend. This trend line was declining, and you would expect if we're going to continue down that we would have got bounces, then decline, then bounce, and then decline. But right now, right through this area here, we did get that break on the trend line, and it's looking like we use this potential as support, and now we're really going to rocket to the upside. Let's move over to the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart looks extremely bullish. As we spoke about in previous videos, we had this low and then we had a lower low in price, but we had a low in the MACD indicator, but we had a higher low in price, showing that we had that divergence pattern. And again, if you entered on that divergence pattern, which the exact entry was on this white bar, because when we get the tick up and we're not getting that consistent declining, we have that first tick up on the MACD indicator, that was the entry point. So right here from top to bottom, could have made a quick 5% trade in just 2 days, especially when you're using a little bit of leverage. That would have been an absolutely fantastic trade. But if you bought, I would still be holding, because in this area here, you can see initially resistance. Reason being is we came back into this value area, like I like to speak here, between these two EMAs. Since the exponential moving average was traveling to the downside, this was the value zone that a lot of people were looking to exit out of. And people did exit, but then we got that break above. Resistance, and we got that break above. When resistance gets braked and then flips to a support level, and where are we right now? That was the resistance level, and look, we broke through the resistance, and now we came back, we used it as support, and then we got a massively bullish bar to the upside. I am expecting continuous movement to the upside now. We'll come through to this area here, we'll then come through to this area here, we'll then come through to the top of the trading range, which at least from this trade here all the way to the top was an easy 12% trade. And since the 60-day cycle has ended and we're looking at more upside momentum since it was a right-hand translated cycle. If you don't understand, make sure you see the video. It's looking like higher prices are very likely for Bitcoin and the entire crypto market. Before I move on, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on the video if you enjoy these daily videos, as it really helps my channel and gives me the motivation to continuously create videos for you. Now, as I've spoken about, we had resistance, resistance, resistance. Once this level got broken, resistance then gets flipped as support. Through this area, we were supporting, and through this area, you would think it would look slightly more bearish, but since we did only get the wick through and we still closed in the support area, that's an extremely bullish sign. Again, confirmed by this MACD indicator, we're continuously ticking to the upside. As much as it is below the zero level right now, so look, we're getting tick up, tick up, tick up, tick up, tick up, which means the momentum is now creeping up to the upside. We're getting a lot of volume coming in, and the volume is to the bullish side rather than the bearish side. When we do get some small sell-offs, there's a lot more bullish momentum to actually pull the market up, although there is still a small amount of sellers. But as I've spoken about before, this exponential moving average using the medium term and short term, once we come in between here, that's actually the value zone. So people that were buying down in this area here are going to be getting out in the value zone, because some of them are not sure if we're going to absolutely rocket to the upside or not. So they just want to make sure and confirm their gains. But we did have that 60-day crypto cycle that has just ended. Since it was right-hand translated, this was the top and it was on the right-hand side of the translation. It means that we should expect in the next 60 days to have higher prices. And the end of the 60-day cycle was on this bar here, and we're already 6 bars in, so already 10% into the 60-day cycle. And it's looking like what we're doing is just revving up right before we have that potential rocket. Either way, we're going to go massively up or massively down. I'm not trying to predict the price just yet, but I know that very soon I'm going to have a very profitable trade, and I need to wait for the signal. Again, the high probability play would be to move to the upside, but trading is never a 100% game. You can never say 100% of the time we're going to the upside, because one trader could absolutely ruin that. One massive trader could come into the market and go, yeah, you think it's going to the upside, and just sell $10 million of Bitcoin. Well, you're going to see a massive price drop. So you can never be 100% in this game. But we're looking at probabilities. We're playing risk to reward ratios. And when everything lines up in your favor, that's when you want to execute. Also coming over to the 4-hour chart from Ethereum, again, we had that push down in price, and then we had another lower low in price. On the MACD indicator, we had a low, but then a higher low. As much as price made a lower low, we made a higher low on the MACD indicator, showing that divergence pattern. Right on this green bar, right in here, was the entry point of our divergence pattern, because this was the first time that the higher low on the MACD actually ticked across and went to the white, and eventually you can see it came to green, which is what I'm expecting on the daily bar as well. And we came into this value zone, had a little bit of resistance, but we broke above. Now using this area as support, the entire crypto market looks like it is going to have a solid push to the upside. That is the higher probability play, but I need to wait for confirmation. A confirmation would really be to break above here, because there will be some resistance in this area. There will be some resistance in this area. There will be some resistance in this area. Now you need to think, why would that be? Let's say right here, there was buyers in this area, which actually would make sense because we had a lot of bullish bars to the upside. Let's say that somebody bought in this area right here, and they've been holding for this entire time to the downside. When price comes back to this area, a lot of these buyers are going to say, yep, finally price has come back and I'm going to get out of my trade. The exact same thing is happening right here. There would have been buyers, as you see 2 bullish bars to the top side. People would have been buying in this area, and they've held this entire way down. They potentially would have bought more in this area, and the goal is then to then get break even on this trade and make a profit on this trade. They would look to test to the upside right here, and once this first trade got break even, they would say, I'm out. And if they bought a little bit lower, they would then make a really solid profit on this trade. So they'd get break even on one trade, and they made 6% on the other trade, which would at least negate and make some profits in the market. That's how a lot of people are trading. Even down here, when you see, there would have been some sellers in this area down here. What their goal would be is to sell a little bit higher and then get out break even on this price here. So they make a profit on this second trade, but they get out break even on the first trade and make over 2.5%, which is the strategy of a lot of traders. They're not trying to time the exact bottom, but they think, yes, oh, this is a decent bar to sell. Let's sell here. Oh no, price pushes against me. Let's sell more in this value zone and expect another retrace to the downside. So you need to be looking at how traders are expecting the market to move, where a lot of buyers are trapped, where are the sellers trapped, because that's when you're going to see when there's a lot of sellers trapped in the market, you're going to get a massive upside momentum. Because when you sell and you're looking to go short on a coin, well, how do you get out of that coin if you say, oh, I've had enough of this trade? Well, you need to buy back into the market. And if the market just keeps climbing, that's what's happening. A lot of people are actually exiting out of their shorts. It's not only new entrants coming in with buys in the market, it's old entrants who are stuck in their trade. They need to get out of their short and they need to also buy back. So you get the volume from the new buyers, plus you get the volume from the old sellers buying back their position, which is extremely, extremely great for momentum traders. That's all I have for you for the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment as it really helps my channel.